Hi, everyone. Welcome to our next success story for today. We're trying to bring you a whole variety of different people, different businesses. So please keep watching, please keep enjoying, because there are so many different varieties of people that have been through one to many. So just a reminder as well at the beginning of this interview that if you want to hear all the details about one to many, to get yourself on the masterclass at 8 o'clock tonight, and the doors will officially be open. Right, without further ado, let me bring in Lisa. There we go. Lisa,
Hi.
thank you for joining me. If you could tell everybody who you are and what it is that you do, and then we'll sort of get into your one-to-many journey.
Awesome. So I'm Lisa Aaron, and I now have a little business called Your School Kit, which, is the product of doing one-to-many. So I was a primary school teacher. I was in leadership. I taught internationally. Then I came home for my two little girls, and I came into the children's activity world. And what I've ended up doing is supporting other people in the children's activity world to work with schools and work with funding partners and work with government guidance to be able to bring their skill set and their enrichment in to support our education sector.
Amazing. So this sounds a very different one. We've not done an interview like this one before. So you went into one-to-many. Is this the first time that you've done like online courses, or have you been doing different things? How did you feel going into it?
Yeah, it was different. It was definitely different for me. We'd, myself and my husband had kind of begun that kind of investing in ourselves mindset. So we were on that track a little bit. We'd done a little bit in property and things like that. But it was a different scope in that it was all going to be online. So yeah, different, but exciting. And I was lucky enough that I had a great affiliate who kind of had told me about how it was going to work. And that helped a lot to kind of go, oh, no, look, I can see that she's doing that. So this makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So what then did you think of the program? So you went in, you're going through these weekly trainings that happen. How did you find it? What did you enjoy the most?
Okay, so I really, really like the step-by-step thing. Obviously, I'm from the education world. I'm from a teaching background. I like to tick boxes and to know I've done all of the things. So I love the roadmap because I could literally go in and be like, done, 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 not done. As it all went along, I was really in on all the lives. I was staying up to date with everything. And the group was great for accountability and all of that sort of thing and seeing what other people were up to. And then we got to audience building, and I started doing that section, and I kept following along with the course. But what actually happened for me there was I wasn't ready to implement those bits yet.
Yeah.
I'd built up all the way up until that point. And then I was like, okay, now I'm going to keep following the course. But I wasn't then implementing that. I was staying in that audience building area for quite a while. And what's actually happened for me is that this time doing recurring revenue again, I've gone, oh, hold on. Now's the time that I need to go back in and pick up kind of where I was and really now implement all of those next things. So actually the space that you have to do it your own way is really what's worked for me, really.
And because the reality is that when you're going through the process, you're not going to be ready to, or most people won't be ready to launch something overnight. There is this audience building process that Lisa teaches that you've got to sort of go away and do. And so we were chatting about this before. When you talk about having lifetime access to the course, people sort of brush over that, like, oh, what does that mean? Do I really mind?
I was like, I didn't need that. I'll do the course and then that'll be it. Like, I'll move on. But no, oh my goodness, I need that now. Like, and I can see now that I very much started from scratch. I started from my children's activity background and my education background. I had nothing set up at all. So to be able to start from scratch and do it like that, and then go, okay, now I can come back and I can keep going and I can build from me now and where I am now is, amazing.
And that's the important thing about being able to go back, not just from an audience building perspective, but also from the perspective of life can get in the way. And we know that things come up and happen to people throughout this process. So just knowing that once you've got access to this, you can go back at any point in time in the future and go and relearn and follow the steps again and do different things with it, which is great, which is obviously what we're talking about now. However, during this time, during the last year, you have gone on to do a couple of one-to-many launches.
Yes, not to say that I haven't been doing it. Like even during that year when I feel like I'm quite harsh on myself. A lot of us are, aren't we? Like, oh no, I'm not doing it yet. But actually, when I look back, I've launched 2 group programs, which have both made me close to 2,500 each. And also during that time, I've discovered a whole range of other type of client that I didn't realize was there during that audience building period. And that's led me to some really quite bespoke and different work in terms of developing much larger scale educational programs. I've really enjoyed doing that, and that has been very financially beneficial for me, and allowed me the time and the space to keep building that one-to-many program that is where we want it to be, right? So it's semi-passive. But yeah, so there's been lots of options happening, and even in that more bespoke work, I've been able to make around £6,000 through that bespoke work. Amazing. So even when I look back and I go, oh, I'm not there yet, I'm not doing it yet, and then I go, oh, hold on, yes, I am. I've achieved this, which is amazing.
And this is the point, because we can tell ourselves, I'm not there yet, because I'm not on an interview saying I've made 6 figures, or insert your great big massive thing here. But the reality is, this point last year, you sat on a masterclass, you listened to it, you hit go, you backed yourself, and you've made £11,000. And that is absolutely incredible. And I think sometimes we forget, because we see some of the much bigger things going on, about what our journeys should actually look like for us. I mean, I've just got the utmost respect for anybody, whether a business is big or whether it's small, that they are creating employment for themselves and they're supporting themselves. And I think that's absolutely incredible. You should be so proud of what you've done.
Thank you so much. I think it's making it all work around what you're currently doing, isn't it? We can't just make the world stop and run a business. It's just not how it works. So it's been, and I was speaking to you before, my husband works away. And when I was a full-time teacher, I know there's lots of teachers in Race to Recurring Revenue who will be feeling that strain of it's not 9 to 5. It's far from 9 to 5. It's all consuming. And if I was still doing that role to that extent as well, where would my kids sit in this lifestyle, and how would I be the parent that I also want to be, and be the teacher that I also want to be? And it's allowed me the space to be those things, be all of the things, be all of the things that we want to be. Yeah,
I love that. What is next for you this year? You've been through Race to Recurring Revenue again. Has there been new ideas coming up? Anything you want to implement?
Yeah, how annoying is it how Lisa makes you think of new ideas? I could do it like that, and I could do it like that. So I've just launched my next, I have my pod groups. So we're doing a March pod because school budgets are all April. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. But then, I'm going to go back into my course and make sure that my one-to-many course that all of this is all kind of leading to is in place and is set up the way that it should be set up, using all of those things that I know I have there in that bank that I can go back to now and get that side of the business really thriving. That's what's next. And then I've got I'm speaking at events, and looking at events, it's strange. People want to hear from me. It's weird, bizarre, isn't it? So I'm speaking at some children's activity events this year, and that's amazing. It's that's me. I'm doing those things. Wow, Lisa said you could, and wow,
and you are.
So that's this year.
If I could ask you one final question, what would you say to those that maybe later this evening are going to be hovering around that button going, do I, don't I? What would you say to those, particularly maybe to those that, like you say, are coming from the education sector? There is a lot of teachers that are going through that. What would you say to them?
Okay, my thing, and this is mine and my husband's ongoing thing. What is the cost of not? What if you don't? Like, what is the cost of not doing this? The cost for me would have been burnout. It would have been burnout. It would have been potentially going back on supply, not being at home with my kids. It would have been, there would have been so many, the cost would have been much higher if I didn't. And not necessarily, I'm not saying financially, like maybe financially, but personally and in our quality of life and in my family life, the cost would have been so much higher. So yeah, I think it's that. It's what's the cost of not doing it and what's the cost of doing it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Lisa, thank you for joining me, and everybody, thank you for listening. I will be back later today with even more success story interviews for you, and just another little reminder to be on the masterclass tonight at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Abigail. See you soon.